psychological capital, right? So today we are on Unit 9, and there's a lot for us to complete because after this I just have one more class which will be on the next Sunday. With that, I will close this whole syllabus. Okay, so today, Unit 9, we are focusing on psycho-cybernetics, right? So what is the objective of psycho-cybernetics? After completing this lesson, we will be able to understand how cybernetics work, what is cybernetics, and how does it work, what is the importance and the need for positive thinking, and learn the ways efficiency impacts our success. Okay, so the word cybernetics comes from a Greek term that means a helmsman who steers the ship to a port. Psycho-cybernetics is the term which means steering your mind to a productive or useful goal. So you can reach the greatest sport in the world. That is a peace of mind, according to Maxwell Maltz. He created the self-improvement phenomena and suggested that many people see themselves inaccurately, their perceptions distorted by unchallenged and erroneous beliefs embedded with the subconscious mind. Maxwell Maltz teaches his techniques of an emotional surgery, the path to a dynamic new self-image and self-esteem to achieve success and happiness one deserves. So according to him, a lot of perceptions are distorted and our beliefs are also unchallenged, because of which we tend to have a wrong perception about who we are and find it a challenge to achieve what we want in life. He urges to turn the crisis into a creative opportunities to dehypnotize oneself from false beliefs and celebrate new freedom from fear and guilt. According to him, self-image is the key to human personality and human behavior. Change in the self-image will bring a change in the personality and the behavior. The self-image sets boundaries of an individual's accomplishment. It defines what one can do and what one cannot do. By expanding the self-image, the area of the possible will expand. The development of adequate realistic self-image will seem to enrich the individual with new capabilities, new talents, and turns failure into success, which in turn impacts the efficiency of an individual. Psycho-cybernetic also explores the power of positive thinking and explain why it works with individuals, right? So this topic, psycho-cybernetic, helps us to focus on the strengths, focus on what one can do, focus on the capacities of the individuals, and it explores the power of positive thinking so that it can work and help the individuals to succeed in wherever they want to succeed. Yeah. Now, the human brain and the nervous system operates purposefully in accordance with the known principle of cybernetics to accomplish goals of the individual. It constitutes a complex goal-striving mechanism, a sort of built-in automatic guiding system which works as a success mechanism or as a failure mechanism, depending on how we are wired from within, from the brain. Okay, so cybernetics began as a study of machines and mechanical principles, an attempt to restore the dignity of a man as a unique creative being. The science of cybernetics tells us how the machine functions and how it can be used. Now, Maxwell Maltz argues that the self-image can be changed only by experiencing. That is, when the person experiences acceptance as a human being, he feels that his self has some worth and dignity, and he comes to accept himself and conceives himself in new terms, thus experiencing a direct and a controlled method of changing the self-image. Memories of past successes acts as a built-in stored information, right? When we look back and think about our past memories of how we have overcome a lot of obstacles and successes and challenges, right? That gives, when we focus on those things as to how we have come that far, that gives us a kind of a experience that happens, that makes our nervous system, our midbrain and new anagrams and neural patterns are recorded in the gray matter of our brains. He learned that the power of self-affirmation and mental visualization techniques are very useful for the connection between the mind and the body. He specified techniques to develop a positive inner goal as a means of developing positive outer goal. The concentration on inner attitude is essential in his approach. A person's outer success can never rise above the visual internally. So what he means to say is how you are visualizing yourself from internally. The focus is the internal control of how you visualize yourself. That impacts your self-image and your self-esteem. Success, he points out, as a creative accomplishment. He feels that no man should attempt to be a success, but every man can and should be successful. Striving to be successful brings in satisfaction, fulfillment, and happiness. Man is by nature goal striving being and is not happy unless he is functioning as he is made to function. His deep felt needs, aspirations, and talents will bring happiness and success because his optimum level of functioning. Thus, true success and true happiness not only go together, but each enhances the other. According to him, everyone has a specific mental portrait. All of us, you and me, we have a particular mental portrait that defines who he or she is and believes in. This mental portrait is a result of our past experiences, our successes, our failures, our feelings, and our behavior. As a result of this, this image represents the foundation on which our personalities are built. Now, most people, he feels, let the past experience define them in a negative way. Therefore, he ends up behaving in a way who they think they are. He says that the mental distortion can be overcome by adopting a new method for better defining ourselves. We have to construct a new self-image which resembles the closest, no more or less. He feels that every human has an internal greatness and that is just waiting to be unleashed. That means we all have great potentialities within us and we can all change our mental distortion and we can even change our perception, distorted perception by imbibing a new self-image, by reconstructing a new image of ourselves, the potentiality that is waiting to be unleashed, that is waiting to be released. Many times we have the abilities, but the opportunity becomes unavailable as soon as we start doubting ourselves. We stop believing in ourselves. Now, some of the tips of cybernetics. Let us look at the following to steer your mind towards success. The first one that we talk about in the textbook is the imagination is the key. Our brain doesn't distinguish between imagination and reality. Instead, it acts based on the information we send it through our thoughts. We can imagine new version of ourselves through our attitude and interpretation of various situations, and this will find a way to make that image come to fruition. However, we must have a clear picture of the person we want to be. So he speaks about the power of imagination. Now, when you look at all the examples, you see where we have reached the sky, we have reached the space. It is all due to the power of imagination. We are able to dwell deep into the sea, we are able to dive up into the sky, and we are able to invent so many things only through the power of imagination. So that is what is very important. Next thing, the tip is the taking time for relaxation. Now, why is it important to relax? Because relaxation yields tremendous benefits when it comes to dehypnotizing ourselves from the wrong thoughts and the conviction. Take time to relax by finding a comfortable spot and let go of tension piled up in your muscle throughout the day. So the importance of relaxation is very, very, crucial. The next thing is meditation, right? Which is again another important, which all of us can make a regular habit in our lives to meditate, as it will give us a little more clarity, our emotional well-being, reduction of anxiety, and all these things will positively influence our self-image. The next thing that we focus on is forgetting past failures, right? We should forget our failures completely because they were learning steps. Actually, we should never consider failure as a failure at all because failures are always learning and they are stepping stones. Continuous dwelling on the failures tends to perpetuate the behavior and it is self-destructive. Now, letting go of the failure will open up a host of potentialities, opportunities to divert the mind from negative, destructive thought towards a more ambitious one. The next thing is the let your success mechanism do the work. As humans, we are all born with the innate creative mechanism in ourselves. Once we get a clear idea about the problem that is to be solved, we should just stop worrying about the potential end result. You should let your subconscious mind do the work. The creative mechanism works best when a conscious mind is less involved. Your brain starts to work on solutions regarding whether you are conscious about it or not. Another important aspect is being happy. Most of us tend to postpone our happiness because of external circumstances. We keep telling ourselves, when I get more money, maybe I'll be very happy. When I get a promotion, I'll may get very happy, or maybe when I get married, I'll become happy. No, like this, we keep postponing ourselves and stop taking care of ourselves, right? And we start, not being able to live in the moment, not being able to look at the present moment, not able to enjoy the present moment because we are constantly focusing on the for postponing our happiness. Okay, so being happy is also one of the tips for cybernetics. Okay, success and failure mechanism. Success mechanism sums up the following. That is, one need to have a sense of direction, right? Without a sense of direction, we may get lost and we may not be motivated. So this constitutes a very important prerequisite. The next one is comprehension. To be able to communicate, to be understanding people's problem, aspiration, empathizing with their feelings and emotion, even admitting our mistakes and shortcomings, finding ways to correct ourselves. These are essential social skills in the possess. One need to possess. The next thing is the courage, right? Courage, I don't need to explain. Every problem seems smaller if it faced promptly. Do not be afraid to take on new challenges because they will only make you stronger regardless of whether you achieve them. Another important aspect is the charity. Successful people take into consideration the benefit of others because they know that everyone is unique and unique individuality that deserves a dignity and respect. One way to be respectful is to avoid hate, anger towards others, which means being impartial in our judgment and taking time to stop and consider others. That is being more charitable towards others. Okay. Another important aspect is esteem. Esteem is you stop doubting yourself because doubting yourself will jeopardize the well-being and your relationship with the outside world. Remember that you deserve to be appreciated as much as anybody else. Stop considering yourself as a loser or as a victim. The next aspect is the self-confidence built on success. If you are able to remember your past success, focus on that. Naturally, you will tend to move towards success. Self assurance. Create a more accurate image of your own self. It doesn't mean you're trying to be somebody else. It simply means accepting yourself as you are, whether you have limitations, whether you are imperfect, whether you have issues, always changing, always becoming a new version of yourself, a worthy person. None of us are perfect, and those who pretend to be are just fooling themselves. Failure mechanisms are like frustration, aggressiveness, and insecurities. I'm sure I don't need to explain this in detail. What are frustrations? They are disappointments and humiliation we face as we keep on journeying on in life. What is aggressiveness? Misdirected aggressiveness following disappointments, positive aggressiveness, pure determination. It allows us to fearlessly tackle goals and challenges in life, and negative aggressiveness, which looks like frustration, will never lead to positive outcomes. And insecurity. Insecurities refer to always present thought of not being equipped or something great. Insecurity is just a mental block. It is just enough to stop us from achieving one's full potential. And then we have loneliness, we have uncertainty, we have resentment and emptiness. I don't need to explain in detail what is loneliness, which we have already spoken about. Uncertainty, which we know that life itself is not certain. And then resentment, right? It always helps to find joy in ourselves through personal discovery and development. If they are, it is a result of a reaction to something that happens on the outside, and we feel victimized and we develop bitterness and grief towards others. Okay. And emptiness is very similar to delusions. It alludes to an individual who is not able to enjoy life anymore. Okay. So our mind is the most valuable asset what we have. An aggressive attitude and the ability to see the ultimate goal is powered by our own mind. When we face a difficult challenge, we can't find courage, strength, and resilience to handle it. When we discover power suddenly, the secret is all inside our mind. True power lies in accepting the challenges. If you make a habit of facing challenges, you will feel self-confident, gain conviction in your needs that will lead to positive outcome. Now, Malls recommended that we need to change our attitude towards ourselves rather than our appearances. According to him, by developing a positive attitude about ourselves, engaging in techniques of relaxation, visualization, as we develop positive attitude, we have to achieve positive wisdom and helpful insight on how to be a successful person. The mind body connection is the concept that paved way for most of today's personal empowerment program. Here is an attempt to make to change all people's mental image of themselves and accomplish their most ambitious goals. He found that with the help of these programs, people have reported greater changes in health and appearance in their personalities and abilities. They are happier, they are more energetic, more successful. Since he points out that all is in the mind and changing our thinking process can change our outlook. And we shall see how positive changing thinking can help. Okay, so with this, we close this psycho-cybernetics. From there, we move towards positive thinking, which is again a very simple and a easy understanding of this concept of positive thinking. If this word is used so many times in our lives, in our daily life, we keep telling one another, be positive, think positively. And now let's look at the definitions given by the Oxford dictionaries and Cambridge dictionaries. What does it entail, right? Oxford Dictionary meaning of positive thinking is the practice or the result of concentrating one's mind affirmatively on the good and the constructive aspect of the matter. So as to, eliminate negative or destructive attitude and emotion. Synonyms are bright outlook, cheerfulness, hopefulness, and optimism. A Cambridge Dictionary defines it as full of hope and confidence, or giving cause for hope and confidence. Thus, positive thinking is a mental and emotional attitude of expecting good and favorable results and are not getting discouraged. I'm sorry for this. Yeah. The positive thinking is a mental and emotional attitude of expecting good and favorable results and not getting discouraged when plans do not proceed as we expect. It means trying over and over again, not accepting defeat, being optimistic and having a positive attitude, looking forward and envisioning better and happier life and not being dejected or by obstacles or problems delays. Okay. So if you want to understand positive thinking, it's in a simple way, learning to accept everything that life offers to us, whether it is the good, the bad, or the ugly, the positive or the negative. Learning to look at the positive aspects even in the worst situation. That is what is all positive thinking. Looking at it as a learning, looking at it as something that is empowering. So success and failures are part of lifestyle, right? But when you look at failures not as a final thing and success not as a final, then we understand that we can always have developed the positive thinking of being hopeful, of being optimistic, of always, being looking forward for a lifelong learning. A virtuous cycle. Happy people with positive outlook on life are not just happier, but also seem to achieve much more. While success may lead to happiness, there is a very little doubt that happiness leads to success. Finding time to be positive about your life and to do things that makes you feel positive emotions like happiness is vital in helping you to develop. Benefits of positive thinking. Let's look at some of the benefits. The first and foremost benefits of positive thinking is some physical benefits, like which includes a longer lifespan, lower chances of heart attack, better physical health, greater resistance to illness, such as common cold, low BP, better tolerance, better stress management. Now, all these are physical benefits. Then we also have mental benefits, a strong self-confidence, more creativity, greater problem-solving skills, clearer thinking, better mood enhancement, better coping skill, less depression, better management of important decisions. And when we look on the social side, we are more happier because we have more friends. We are able to interact with more friends. We are able to feel positive, interacting with them, bonding with them, exchanging ideas with them by having a proper communication and building new skills, learning from one another, and genuinely having fun and genuinely being happy, right? So this is all about the social side of the skill. Now let's look at some of the tips that can enable us for positive thinking. There are very simple tips that is already given in your textbooks. Look at it as, right? One of it is gaining control over yourself. Do not be critical of yourself or others. Confidence your concerns only to some who trust completely. Be kind to yourself. Make a list of good qualities and believe in them, and believe in yourself. Don't just be a complainer. By being negative, you can isolate yourself from others and cut yourself from positive solutions to problems. Again, some of the repetitions here: learning to relax, as I told you before, how it's so important that you take time to relax a few minutes every day. Boosting your own morale, right? Trust yourself every now and again, especially if you have to overcome a problem, right? Congratulate yourself on a job task well done. Perhaps tell a friend, justify praise is a good boost to our morale. Learn to channel the nerves and the tensions positively. When you're nervous, adrenaline is pumped through the body and you will feel more keyed up and alert. The extra energy can be used to good effect, enabling you to communicate with greater enthusiasm and intensity. Learn to be assertive, stand up for what you believe in, and do not be pressurized by others, right? This, when you're assertive, learning to say when you want to say no, and learning to say when you want to say yes, so that you are not guilty of, you know, doing things that you don't want to do, right? Now we also have some of the effect on negative thinking. What are the effects of negative thinking, such as fear, anger, which is designed to help for survival action? They cause us to take swift and effective action to save ourselves from whatever is threatening us. This means they also prevent us from being distracted by other things around. As long as they are safety mechanism, it is very helpful. Negative thinking should not turn into a habit. It is something we train our brains to do, brains to avoid. Constant negative thinking can make us stressed and can lead us to serious problems like depression, right? It can even develop anxiety in us. It can give us panic attacks, right? So all these kind of things, we need to recognize what is going wrong and ensure that we correct it in ourselves so that we are able to better manage ourselves and manage our habits. Now, how do we develop our positive thinking? There are simple tips given, very simple. Three things that is given in your textbook I want to focus. One is meditation, which I've already spoken about it. People who meditate every day show more positive thinking. Those who do not, they tend to show more mindfulness, availability in the lives in the present, which is also associated with positive thinking. Meditation generally helps us to be more present in the moment instead of worrying about your past or the future. Another important skill that one needs to develop is the writing. It helps us to write intensely. As I told you yesterday, keeping a gratitude journal where you journal everything that happens throughout the day, or even at the end of the day when you sit and review the day and focus on gratitude for all the good, the bad, and the ugly situations of your life, right? This gives you a lasting effect of the item. So help writing also gives you a big boost. Play is another important thing. It's it's good to meet friends for coffee, to go out for a walk or a bike ride, or even start enjoying yourself through play. And the last one that is given in your book is forgiveness. The way to make changes in our lives is through forgiveness. People are learning to use these steps of forgiveness to achieve more peace of mind, better relationships, and happier life. As you learn to forgive yourself, you let go of the anger and resentment for what others have done to you. And you let go of self judgment and self blame, which could be causing you not to allow good things to follow in your life. You'll be dealing with the root causes of the blocks that have been stopping you from creating the life that you want. Forgiveness refers to condoning what person has done to you, right? So we are not condoning the person who has wronged us. We are not encouraging us to wrong us again, but we are protecting our peace by setting ourselves free by forgiving them. The next thing we go 9.4, that is self-efficiency, that is performance efficiency. What is efficiency? Efficiency is defined as the ability to accomplish something with the least amount of wasted time, wasted money and effort, or competency in performance. It signifies a peak level of performance, and it is important to reduce the usage of unnecessary resources used to produce a given output, including personal time and energy. The efficiency principle is an economic tenet stating that any action that achieves greatest benefit to society when the marginal benefits from the allocation of resources are equivalent to its marginal social cost. Talking about effectiveness is defined as a degree to which something is successful in producing a desired result. That is success. Efficiency, according to Moreno, is a key success and personal satisfaction. He says that much has been written about time management, but the focus is usually on prioritizing procrastination, right? Keep on delaying things. A less discussed component of time management is efficiency. How a person tackles a task once he or she has decided to do it. An efficient person uses two-step process for most of the tasks. One is choose an approach to the task that uses your strengths and yields the right level of perfectionism. Second, continuously monitor for efficiency as the task is being done. For people who accomplish a lot, there is an ever-present voice whispering in their ear, questioning about the perfection of the task. We move on to the idea of performance state, that is IPS. What is this IPS? Performance is said to be optimal physiological and psychological level of arousal that results in peak performance and ideal performance. That's what is IPS, which is an important state to experience highly distinctive patterns of feelings and thoughts which enables top performance. It involves all levels of human existence: body, mind, emotion, spirit, and creativity. For an individual to reach a state of IPS, he or she needs the following state. That is, personally challenged, energized with positive energies, emotions, ready for fun and enjoyment, focused and alert on automatic instinct, relaxed and calm behavior, maintaining of confidence. When defining emotion, they are defined as a biochemical events in the brain that leads to powerful biochemical changes in the body, and they play a key role in performance. Empowering emotions are associated with drives, challenge, fight, high energy, spirit, determination, persistence, confusion, low energy, right? So toughness is built with discipline of maintaining empowering emotions under most difficult and challenging circumstances. The connections between emotion and internal physical chemistry are direct. One impacts the other. Thus, for ideal performance state, the individual needs to assess the task and focus on what is the expected outcome and the act on it. IPS of calmness, awareness, and focus create certain neurological arousal patterns within the brain, which in turn create a freedom that enables excellence. Also, psychological mechanisms are foundation of expert psychomotor performance. It's very interesting to note the expert performance require less neural activation than the novice for physical performance, as they have developed optimum psychomotor efficiency. In addition to this, theorists have addressed the spiritual dimension, how deeper values and a sense of purpose influence the performance. A successful approach to a sustained high performance by everyone adopts holistic approach that puts together all the ideal performance state elements and considers the person as whole. Thus, integrated theory of performance management addresses the body, the emotions, the mind, and the spirit. Okay. Now we move to the high performance pyramid. What is this high performance pyramid? The premise here is the peak performance is not simply a matter of sheer brain power, but a state of being where there is a strong and balanced spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical capacity. Peak performance is achieved and maintained when the four levels are working together. They have explained all the four levels in detail. Please go through it. It's very simple and easy to understand. The first one is the physical capacity, where the ideal performance state is a physical well-being, which builds the endurance and promotes mental and emotional recovery. The second is the emotional capacity. The next building block is the emotional capacity, which aids in creating the internal climate that drives the ideal performance state, right? Where you have optimism, focus, confidence, joy, happiness, complete engagement, etc. Right? And the third one is the mental capacity, the performance pyramid, that is the focus on physical and emotional energy on the task at hand. Mental capacity is enhanced through improving our cognitive abilities, right? Cognitive focus, such as clear thinking skills, perception, alertness, accuracy, punctuality, memory, imagination, concentration, adaptability, self control, determination, tact, diplomacy, and good judgment. So maintaining a good diet also improves brain nutrition, also plays an important role in improving our mental capacity. And the last one is a spiritual capacity. Provides powerful source of motivation, determination. Spiritual capacity is simply the energy that is unleashed by aligning our energy with the deepest values and lifelong productive purposes. This alignment is the powerful source of motivation. You achieve efficiency in your highest expression of life. How well you express your latent qualities sets a degree of efficiency. We have in ourselves the potentialities to excel. The good-natured, intelligent, reliable person exhibits his or her qualities so that success is guaranteed. Besides spiritual qualities such as idealism, which enables you to seek the higher purposes, find the purpose of life. Moreover, certain ethical qualities are also essential to success. The ethical principles that are our intentions are right. You mean to be honest and truthful, and you are of a good moral character, reliable, dependable. You love your work because it enables you to serve others as well as yourself. So each may differ in the degree and the variety of natural endowment, but everyone has the potential element of success. Success and realizing that you are worthy to succeed. Even if you have high quality of facilities and abilities, you do not exhibit them through performance. No one will acknowledge them. Besides, success consists in selling your ideas because you cannot sell qualities which are not seen by others until you sell your ideas to them. Thus, psychology of performance of efficiency depends on the right idea and how to get the right idea across. This operates on develop your best capacities to the highest possible degree, learn to describe in a manner that others understand or what they are getting to hear your idea, and identify your market, find the right field for your services, and deliver services to make the prospective employer feel that you are one person who is right fit for his requirement. Okay. So V2, psychological momentum. What is psychological moment? It's also called the PM model, right? It is a change behavior and performance. Its key, it is a key continued success. Series of success are essential feature of high level performance. That is better performance experience, perceived motivation of success more frequently. As a result, more and more successful PM to be created. It just doesn't happen. Psychological momentum facilitate efficiency by making successful task completion are more likely and faster. The principle of PM means whatever task people undertake, perception of positive psychological moment enhances the sense of success. Okay. So experiencing success instantly changes people's perception of themselves as a performer, and success is likely to lead to subsequent success. Thus, the psychological momentum can be a mediating mechanism between early and subsequent success. Finally, it should be noted that ability does not exist as an independent entity, but mostly manifests itself as a product of deliberate practice, which in turns initial ability into physical and technical skill. Increased skill allows performers to focus on other relevant factors, strategy, and therefore taking advantage of the psychological process, specifically the psychological momentum, that is the PM. In general, with increasing skill, human performance advances from conscious to unconscious. Facilitates automatic processing and reflected in general neural efficiency. Okay. Now, processing efficiency theory. What is it? Seeks an account for an influence of state of anxiety, a performance from the cognitive motivational perspective. This theory is most applicable to tasks that are high cognitive demands on performance, as therefore particularly applicable to complex tasks. While theory places greater emphasis on the influence of state of anxiety on performance, dispositional factors, trait anxiety, they are also important along with situational threat. Right? Processing efficiency theory are important distinction between performance effectiveness and processing efficiency. Processing efficiency is defined as a performance effectiveness divided by processing resources invested in the task. The distinction is central to the theory as it argues that anxiety affects processive efficiency more often than performance effectiveness. One strategic response to threatening situation is to allocate more processing resources to performance to increase in effort which aims to maintain performance effectiveness, thus helping to avoid potential adverse consequences of failure. PET is useful as a theoretical framework for studying the effects of anxiety on performance The research findings on the phenomena of choking in pressure situations also suggest that PET has a greater relevance to cognitive rather than motor aspects of performance. Okay. So with this, you close this unit 9. You check your progress, read the summary, and see the model question papers. And there is glossary given. I'm sure you should be able to do it. So we move on to block 5 now. With block 5, we have 3 important units. One is unit 10 that focuses on stress management, unit 11 that focuses on mindfulness, and unit 12 that focuses on personal development, which is very easy for us to understand. Let's move on quickly to unit 10, that is stress management. The objective is to explain the stress and discuss various short-term and long-term stress management techniques, discuss the concept, importance, and steps in time management, describe people management as to how we develop the skill that are vital to quality people management in the workplace, discuss various perspectives on leadership development. Okay. Stress is, as we know, part of everyday life. We cannot be without stress right from the day one we born till the day we go. It will be, we are constantly be having stress. So stress, we cannot take away the stress right from our lives, but the good news is we can only manage the stress. Effective stress management is necessary for quality for current aspiring leaders who aim to improve workplace communication and prepare employees for success. Examining the skills that make people management can help you discover the strength. Okay. So stress is, as I told earlier, it is a normal part of life, and there is also, it is something important because a little bit of stress is required for us, right? Like a use stress that pushes us to perform, that makes us to achieve something, right? But what is stress? If you understand, it's a physiological thing that experience a disturbance in the body state of equilibrium, thereby resulting in the physiological response. Therefore, it can be regarded as a physiological response to events and situation that causes an upset in the homeostasis of the body. Psychological stress experience directly affected way. One evaluates events and situations, which means that everyone does not experience the stress in the similar manner. Okay. So you'll find a lot of information already given about stress. We move on to what is long-term and short-term stress, right? For short-term stress management, what are the things that can we do? Physical relaxation methods are given. Very simple, which we have already spoken it in the previous chapters when you're talking about the positive psychological responses and positive capital and cybernetics, all this stuff, right? In the short-term stress management, there is exercise that is something very important where you need to move our bodies every day so that we become more calmer and become more relaxed as our bodies will produce endorphins, which gives us a state of happiness for the body. The second aspect is the deep breathing exercise, which already I spent a lot of time yesterday explaining the importance of deep breathing exercise. The third aspect is the guided imaginary and visualization, which helps you to manifest whatever you want in your life to achieve success and progress. And then there is mindfulness, how important it is to be mindful, which helps us to be in the present, which helps us to do things mindfully, and which is help us to, which reduces our anxiety, which can reduces a lot of our issues of the mind, right? And then ventilation, nothing but to be able to vent out our feelings to a trusted, confident persons uh, who you can trust, build a support network, and diversion and distractions are, taking just diverting yourself when you're stressed for a short walk, or maybe going out with a friend or meeting a friend, yeah, or distracting yourself in different ways. In long-term stress management, what are things you can do? You can learn to manage your time better, right? So that is one important thing. Getting yourself organized, right? There are so many ways that you can getting yourself organized, list on your problems, prioritize your problems, and you create and organize yourselves in a way to give more priority to what is important in your life, right? And less priority to what you can, address later. Most of the time, we give priority to those matters that are urgent and we neglect the important aspects of our life. The third thing is the problem solving, learning to solve problems, right? Which also helps you to cope with the stress, such as the emotional focus coping becomes appropriate and effective. Then there is self-monitoring, where you constantly monitor yourself and you catch yourself from negative thinking, and you catch yourself from procrastination, catch yourself from whatever is troubling your mind. And then there is cognitive restructuring, which is more or less like the cognitive behavior therapy, where you learn to restructure your cognitive thought processes. Like whenever you have a negative thought pattern that is, coming into your mind, you learn to, pause, you become aware of it, and then you stop, and then you learn to reconstruct the negative thought process into positive one. That is what is cognitive restructuring. And then social support. Always find some social support in terms of having family members, friends, and even co-workers that can help you. Then there is time management here, how we can learn to manage our time. Effective ways and steps are given. Effective planning is very important for everything, because when we don't plan, we plan to fail. When we are not planning to succeed, then we are planning to fail. So effective planning is important to what is high priority and what is low priority of any task. Prepare a to-do list every day of your life and start ticking what you have done and what you are not able to do, which spills into the next day. Setting goals and objectives. Have very clear goals and objectives in your life. You can have long-term goals and short-term goals, and you see how it can be translated into your daily life. Setting deadlines so that you are able to keep to the task of whatever deadlines you want to achieve. Use a planner, mark on it, right? Delegations of responsibilities. If you are in leadership positions or managerial positions, learn to delegate responsibilities and don't take everything, all the load on yourself. And prioritizing the task, right? As I mentioned before, tasks which are important needs to be given and needs to be addressed immediately or on priority basis, and spending the right time with the right activity. Develop a habit of doing the right thing at the right time. What is the advantages of time management? It reduces a lot of your stress level, right? Because when you learn to manage your time properly, your stress levels automatically comes down, because you're better prepared for what the day has to offer or what the year has to offer. And then work-life balance. One must benefit from time management. Through managing your time better, you can create better work-life balance, so that you are not on the extreme side of doing all the work and neglecting your personal life or neglecting your personal health, right? But learning to balance both your professional and personal life, ensuring there is a work life balance between your personal and professional life. Increased focus. Yeah, effective time management will help us to have increased focus, better focus, to be able to achieve. Decrease in procrastination, right? It is so common thing that it is always people, even they set beautiful goals, have everything set right, prioritize, but then when you start procrastinating, you are not able to achieve what you want. Fewer distractions, reduce distractions on social networking sites, just reduce the distractions by constantly looking at your WhatsApp messages, reduce distractions by, looking into your phone all the time, and reduce distractions when you are always, when people demand for your time in ways that are not productive, right? So reduce your time from this, and then you will have more energy, you'll have more freedom, and you'll have more excitement and more motivation to achieve. So poor time management skills will not help you, but better time management skills will help you also to manage people in a way that will lead you to progress. Okay, so now we have 10.5, a few points given on people management. What are the some of the useful ways that you can manage at your workplace? One is handling interpersonal conflicts. This is the first and the foremost thing. Managers and employees in leadership positions have important roles in resolving conflict. Effective people management can help in mediate conflicts between employees in a way that promises collaboration and respect. Then managing deadlines. Directing employees includes assigning tasks, establishing achievable goal, effective management of people, evaluate times resources. Building company culture, a leader's position allows him to positively influence work environment. Essential people management skill, some essential ones are empowering employees to develop new skills, giving constructive feedback, being available for question and additional training, allowing them for the workflow standard process, additional skill building, and active listening. Active listening is nothing but listening to people and responding to them, repeating and able to understand and tell them of what you have understood. So the persons who are talking are able to understand. So active listening is not only listening to what they are saying, but also understanding the emotions behind those, what they are speaking, what they are not saying, right? So you are actively participating in the listening, asking questions, interacting with them all. So conflict resolution, which I've already spoken, how you learn to resolve conflicts, flexibility, patience, and clear communication and trust. All these are aspects that is very important for us in people management and leadership development. There is also a separate 10.6 on leadership development, how you need to develop leadership, methods of leadership development, how you can give formal training, development of job assignment, 360-degree feedback, coaching, self-directing, learning, and cross-functional and cross-level assignments. Sorry, I've been running fast because I have a deadline to complete this by 1 o'clock. So with this, I complete unit 10, right? You have a model examination, questions, and you have check your progress, you have glossary. Please go through it and make sure that you read through it. It is very simple to understand and you will not have any problem. Then we just move on to unit 11. I'll try how much I can take it in 10 minutes now, right? The objective of mindfulness to understand the benefits, reason for using mindfulness therapies, describe concept of mindfulness exercises, explain similarities and difference between Eastern and Western approach to mindlessness, pro-social behavior, explain types of pro-social, discuss how social development, pro-social behavior develops. So mindfulness, a deceptively simple way of relating to experience, has long been used lesson. Okay. Pro-social behavior may range. Okay, I'm just skipping the introduction. Let's understand what is mindfulness. It is to paying attention to what is salient at the present moment. If you are having a meal, you are totally present having the meal. If you are in the class, you are completely listening in the class. And if you are talking to a client, you are completely focusing on. That is what is being mindful. It is keeping one's consciousness alive to the present reality, which is not letting your mind to wander into the past or wander into the future, but being present in the moment. So why do we need mindfulness? We need mindfulness because it will help us to be in the present. It will help you to enjoy the present moment of your life. Whatever you're doing, even having a simple meal, having a chocolate, or enjoying the company of friends, mindfulness will also help you to see things clearly. It will help you to be calm because it will not allow you to worry about the past or the future. It will build equanimity, right? And impermanence, right? So, mindfulness is very important. And what are the benefits of mindfulness? It recognizes, it helps you to slow down and stop the automatic and habitual reactions. It allows you to see situations more clearly. It helps you to achieve balance and resilience at work as well as at home. It reduces symptoms of depression and anxiety because you're living in the moment, right? It will improve your memory, focus, and mental processing speed. It improves the ability to adapt to stressful situations, respond more effectively to complex and difficult situations, greater satisfaction with relationship, deepen or strengthen relationship with others at home or work. It reduces rumination because our mind is so habituated. Something happens in the morning, we keep thinking again and again and again. When you are mindful, you are able to set that aside and be present for the moment. Improved ability to manage your emotion, becoming more creative. Formal mindful therapy programs, that is MBCT and MBSR. Some structured mindful therapy programs have developed to treat specific problems. The most well-established programs are mindfulness-based cognitive therapy for depression and anxiety, and mindfulness-based stress reduction, that is MBSR, for general stress. It can also help us manage long-term health conditions. Okay, now mindfulness and mental health problems. Common mental health problems. Study shows that practicing mindfulness can help us to manage depression, some anxiety problems, and feeling of stress. Some structured mindfulness-based therapies are developed to treat these problems more formally. In some cases, the treatments are recommended as evidence-based treatment by the National Institute of Health and Clinical Excellence. Complex mental health problem research into whether mindfulness could help to treat more complex mental health conditions such as psychosis and bipolar disorder is still in the early stages. Okay, so how does mindfulness work? The way we think can affect the way we feel and act. For example, if you think of worry a lot about upsetting your past or future events, you might start feeling sad or anxious. The theory behind mindfulness is by using various techniques to bring your attention to the present, usually focusing on your body breathing. You can notice how your thoughts come and go in your mind. You may learn that they don't have to define who you are or experience your world. you can let them go. Notice what your body is telling you. For example, tension or anxiety can often be felt in your body, such as fast heartbeat, tense muscle, or shallow breathing. Create space between your thoughts so you can react more calmly. So there is mindfulness exercise, a state of mind rather than a particular action or exercise. However, without practice, mindfulness is difficult to achieve. Yeah, so mindful breathing. This exercise can be done anywhere and anytime at work, or traveling, whether you are standing or sitting down. All you need to do is to focus on your breath. Just 1 minute. Start by breathing in and breathing out slowly, holding your breath for counting of 6 once you inhale. Then breathe out slowly, letting the breath flow effortlessly out back into the atmosphere. Naturally, your mind will try and wander amidst the valleys of its thoughts, but simply notice these thoughts. Let them be, whatever they are, and return watching to your breath. Literally watch your breath with your senses as it enters your body and fills you with notice. It works up, way, and out of your body as the feeling dissipates. The simple exercise lies at the core of meditation and mindfulness. And then another one is the body scan. Pay close attention to your physical sensations throughout your body. Start with your feet and move through your legs, groin, abdomen, chest, back, shoulders, arms, hands, neck, and face. Spend anywhere between 15 seconds to 1 minute on each part of the body, right? Then mindful observation. This exercise is simply but incredibly powerful. It is designed to connect us with beauty of the natural environment, which is easily missed when we are rushing around. Pick up a natural organism within your immediate environment and focus on watching it for a minute. This could be a flower, it could be an insect, it could be a cloud, moon. Beautiful. Don't do anything except notice that thing. Look at it as you're seeing it for the first time. Visually explore every aspect of this glorious organism of the natural world, right? So allow yourself to be consumed by its presence and possibilities. Another important aspect is being with nature, touching points. This exercise is designed to make us appreciate our lives by slowing the pace down, coming into purer awareness, resting in the moment for a while, thinking of something happy every day, more than once, something you have taken for granted, like opening of a door, for example. At the very moment you touch the doorknob to open the door, allow yourself to be completely mindful of where you are, how you feel, and what you're doing. Similarly, the moment you open your computer to start to work, take a moment to appreciate the hands that led you to do it, the brain that will help you use the computer. The cues don't have to be physical one. It could be every time you think something negative, you take mindful moments to release the negative thought. It could be every time you smell food, you take mindful moment to rest in appreciating of having the food. Choose a touching point that resonates with you. Instead of going through motions on autopilot, stop and stay in the moment. Mindful listening, which is designed to open your ears in a non-judgmental way. So much of what we see, what we hear, influences the thoughts of our past experience. Mindful listening helps us to leave the past where it is and come to neutral present awareness. Select a new piece of music from your music collection, something you have not heard before. Make it wonder what it might sound. Close your eyes, use your headphones, right? Let awareness climb inside the track and play among the sound waves. Listen to, the waves, listen to the water, hitting the rocks. There's so many things. Or listen to your favorite music or a classical music, or whatever your favorite. So fully experiencing your regular routine. Take your regular routine, finding just doing without really noticing it. For example, cleaning your house, your car, or your bike. No, be happy as you're doing. Be completely mindful as you do this task, right? And then you have a game of five. In the mindful exercise, all you have to do is notice five things in your day. Usually that goes unappreciated, unnoticed. This could be the things that you hear, the things that you smell, feel, or see. For example, you might see the walls in the front room, hear the birds on the tree outside in the morning, feel your clothes on your skin as you walk around, smell the flowers in the park, but you're truly aware of these things. They have connections they have with the world. Are you aware of how these things really benefit in your life? Do you really know what are these things sound like? Have you ever noticed the finer, intricate details, right? Let your creative mind explore, right? So mindful exercise helps center the mind, restore the balance in our life. While we practice being mindful every day by just observing what is happening around us, by formal training, by way of meditation, is the most effective way of being mindfulness. Now, mindfulness of East and West, right, which is a practice involved in various religious uh, and secular traditions from Hinduism and Buddhism to yoga. More recently, non-religious meditations, people have been practicing mindfulness for thousands of years, whether it is own or part of the larger tradition. In general, mindfulness was popularized by the East, by the religious and spiritual institution, while in the West, it is popularized, can be traced to particular people and secular institution, of course. The secular tradition of mindfulness in the West owes due to Eastern religion traditions. Okay, so difference and similarities from the Eastern Buddhist perspective, the root of problem is suffering, that is dukkha, which includes not only inevitable of sickness, old age, death, pain, and all. Okay, so this is a concept of Buddhism. An example that would be something universal as pain of chronic illness or the loss of a loved one. The focus on the pain that is inevitable in the process of life and learning ways of being that would remove suffering that usually stems from it. From the Western perspective, problem is mindlessness, according to Langer et al. And Langer 1989, in which we make bad decisions and sometimes no decisions at all. When mindless, we are victimized by the persistent beliefs grouping. This include examples treating members of racial or gender group in the same way. From the Western standpoint, the problem of mindfulness is caused by lack of choice that stems from being dominated by old categories, thus leads to repetition of experiences. The difference between two approaches regarding the solution to the problem suffering and mindfulness can be posed as the difference between radical acceptance and radical challenge. The Eastern Buddhist perspective, the problem of suffering is resolved by craving, which includes eightfold path. The central eightfold path of rightful mindfulness. The other seven include right thinking, right understanding, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, and right concentration. Therefore, craving is resolved by cultivating a state of mindfulness in which one approaches experience with accepting non-judgmental and compassionate awareness. Underlying this is the awareness of fundamental acceptance of self, environment, and experiences, which is achieved mostly through meditation practice. One aspect of meditation that Western individuals often trouble with this very thing that may lead to therapeutic about it, cultivating stillness. From the Western perspective, mindfulness can be approached through activity and not just stillness of meditative techniques. The most conclusive similarity between the two approaches is the similarity of their outcomes. Okay. Yeah, among all the effects, meditative techniques improve processing speed, concentration, and memory. The overwhelming overlaps effects seems to be the point, a common factor. Okay, then we have pro-social behavior. Any act performed with the goal of benefiting the other person. Pro-social behavior refers to actions carried out to assist the people without being motivated by external incentives, like whether there is a reward or fear of negative. The term pro-social is often interchangeably used with altruism and benevolence, while altruism is the coined by Augustine Comte, who described acts of selfless assistance to others. Benevolence refers to action intended to benefit another, but not seeking external reward recognition to the helper. Now, pro-social behavior can be grouped in sharing, dividing, or bestowing, helping, acts of kindness, rescuing, removing distress, and cooperation, working together to reach a goal, right? So pro-social behavior is helpful. There are different types of pro-social behavior, right, which is proposed by Carlo and Randall. One is the altruistic, right, that when person voluntarily helps others. Compliant, pro-social, across which person helps another because she or he is asked to. Emotional, those in which people help others in highly emotional, evocative circumstances. Anonymous, in where people help in given, where there will be knowledge of help. Dire, pro-social behavior, those which help is given in response to emergency or crisis situation. Public pro-social behavior performed in an audience by potential gaining respect and approval from others and enhancing feelings of personal self-worth. Characteristics are empathy, which I've already spoken about, belief in a just world, social responsibility, and internal locus of control, low egocentrism. Factors influencing are physical attractiveness, similarity and kinship, religiosity, indefinable victim effect. Okay? And attribution concerning victim responsibility, positive friend influence, gender, personality, effective positive modes. Please go through all of this in detail. I've just mentioned the headings of it so that you'll also be able to understand, what are these characteristics. It's a very easy understandable. Okay, so check your progress, read the summary, go through the glossary, fill in the blanks, which will help you to understand. And then we move on next in the next class to personal development, which is unit 12, right? So next class will be the last class, which will be the next Sunday. I will complete unit 12, and then I will also complete the last uh, block. That is the block number 5. Okay. So unit 12, block number 5. Yeah, which has 13, 14, and 15. That is on unit 30 is on self-analysis, psychological tests and skill training, enhancing psychological competencies. So thank you very much, students, for listening. And please go through the lessons. I am glad that you will be able to understand what has been taught to you. All the very best to you. Have a restful Sunday. And this is Dr. Angela signing off. Thank you and God bless.